Hi there, I'm Tanya Cates, and we're having some discussions about areas that have been hard hit with this pandemic in terms of employment, recruitment, engagement, most specifically. I'll hand over now to Rochelle to introduce herself, and we're going to have a little chat today about the hospitality industry in particular.
Thanks, Tanya. I really appreciate you having me on and focusing on our great industry. My name is Rochelle Choyner. I'm the Director of Talent and Culture for a regional area with Accor Hotels. It's Victoria, South Australia, Tasmania and WA. And I also look after our Qantas Lounges partnership.
Covering some big turf there, a lot of distance.
Correct.
So we are most interested, given that we've had a significant lockdown in Victoria, a lot of Australia has suffered quite a lot, in particularly the hospitality industry with these lockdowns and the pandemic, and it's affected being able to recruit staff and keep them energised. And that's my area of interest, is engagement and keeping people energised. So firstly, talk us through some of the hardships that have evolved with the dynamic nature of the pandemic.
Oh, goodness. So the industry has always been very dynamic, but particularly the hardships that we've really been hit with is that uncertainty. The industry just doesn't really know day to day, and I guess Melbourne is a perfect example right now. 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden we got put into a lockdown situation where we'll hopefully get out, but shortly. It has been very challenging, so that provides a lot of uncertainty and it gives a lack of confidence to our industry. Snap lockdowns particularly hit food and beverage outlets, restaurants and hotels, and that's what we do. Same with Qantas Lounges, unfortunately. That's where we look after guests with food and beverage, and that was sort of locked down straight away as well. So it does really cause that uncertainty, and you just don't know if this is the right industry to stay in, because this could happen at any time while we still don't have herd immunity.
And that's going to be an ongoing challenge for this initial part of coming out of the pandemic. How do you think these changes will alter your industry going forward? I mean, a big question.
I think we just have to look very differently, and something that we have done a lot over the last 8-9 months that we've been reopening is about making it a flexible workforce, more than full-time. So we used to provide a lot more full-time opportunities, but right now we're seeing that there are gaps in our day and there's gaps in our delivery of what we can do depending on restrictions, etc., and just not knowing that uncertainty with borders. So we have to be a lot more agile and a lot more flexible. And we've turned our full-time workforce into a very part-time. However, the good part about part-time is that they can do many things, and they can do 2 or 3 jobs part-time to actually still make sure that they can survive from a financial perspective.
And that's it's an interesting point. That's become a positive thing, as opposed to I haven't got a full-time job. I think it's quite energising for the brain to have different tasks that break up any monotony or stagnation in your work opportunities. So what trends have been noted in staff behaviour over this time?
We have actually had a lot of our colleagues be very transparent in how they are managing their personal lives, and they've opened up to us a lot more about what their needs are and what they can do and what they can't do. And so we've actually been able to create a job really based on what do they need. And I think it's been actually quite an amazing experience.
Yeah, I was going to say, what an opportunity.
Yeah, people are actually sort of creating their own ways of working. And it's been quite a positive trend, more than, we've had to sort of resort to those sorts of things, but it's actually resulted in being quite positive, because people can manage 2 or 3 jobs, and potentially 2 or 3 jobs in our own business.
Yes.
So that help foster that transformation of how that's going to happen without having to involve too many bosses and different businesses and ABNs, etc.
It's quite interesting. Yeah, that's a really good point. Within your own company, that's really useful. But coming from them as well, that willingness to give that information is amazing for your company, but also they're more likely to engage for longer if it's come from a personal place of willingness to do those roles. So for your engagement, that's a key win. I remember in our initial conversation, we were talking about employing for characteristics as opposed to purely skills for work. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. So the hospitality industry is always hired for the best attitude, but they also wanted the experience and the skill, ideally.
Yes.
And in those days, we probably had more of a choice. But right now, our choices are limited because the borders are closed and we don't have our international workforce and our students who love working in our businesses. So we've had to look very differently. Now our advertising really focuses on the best attitude. Bring your best smile to work, be the best you, be authentic, and don't worry about a skill. We'll teach you the rest. And
That's
so
amazing.
we've changed everything about the way we recruit these days because you can't look for that skill and that experience anymore like we would have been able to in the past.
So it's a bit more about providing a chance for someone that has the attitude that really wants to get up and go. It's so
Absolutely.
nice. It's a great way to engage. What new staff engagement strategies have been necessary?
We've had some terrific staff engagement opportunities. So we've had our staff actually help us create these, and everybody loves MasterChef. Everyone watches so much TV now and all of these reality programs. So
you're in food.
Exactly. So we've actually had our chefs create cooking competitions with their staff. They'll send them out a recipe and everyone's online cooking, and the chef will critique them as they go, as if they're in their own kitchen doing MasterChef.
I love it.
It's so much fun, and people who don't even cook like me, we've all trialed it. I can even make a paella now, thanks to one of my fantastic chefs in one of my hotels, because he's an expert in that. So as much as, and it was a very safe environment, it was a very fun environment, and we actually got to know a lot more about each other, which is wonderful.
And it takes past just being work, doesn't it? And particularly in this distance mode, given that a lot of your positions would be hands-on operations type jobs, how has that been managed?
So because we do have a lot of different roles in operations, they're all at different timeframes because we run on a 27-hour clock, so a 24-hour clock.
So 27, that's amazing. You've got
24/7, yeah, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And look, it really is. It's quite amazing because we do have all different jobs, and people can actually do some overnight responsibilities and manage again, it's all about how do we create that work their way that's going to work for them. So you might not fit into the normal 9 to 5, or we might have administration roles that we can give you to do at home. So it's a real mix of do some of your hours on site or some of your hours off site, depends on capability, on if they're happy to learn new systems and new skills on on the computers. Not everybody wants to do that, but we also try to customer service roles, being on the telephone. What other opportunities are there where they don't actually have to be in the workplace if right now they just can't, or it doesn't work for them full-time on those full-time hours?
So you're potentially creating longevity with your staff because you've had to come up with these new options. It's actually opened everyone's minds a little bit as to what might be possible.
It's so true, because in our industry, we always thought that you had to be in the workplace. That you had to be, physically there. And look, hotels particularly, there's nothing better than a face-to-face smile. There's nothing better than, trying to help somebody and read the body language, etc. So, that has been a challenge for us because a lot of our business is very interactive, but very face-to-face.
Yes.
But we have had to think outside the square and what is possible. We've had to put new systems in place, upgrade our computers, upgrade our technology, and our IT people are with lots of new programs, and our people are learning, which it's a really great opportunity because people now never thought of roles that they'll be doing, and now they're doing something so different, and they've created new long-term opportunities for them.
That's amazing. I remember early on I taught one of my clients who was in her 70s to use Zoom, who was a very reluctant participant. And it's a really satisfying thing. I think that sense of achievement for people is going to be a really positive thing as well. Oh,
you know what? It's actually interesting you say that. I'm of the older age that I didn't grow up with a computer, and so I don't love it. I do what I have to do. I can do, I can do a lot now. But about 6 or 8 months ago, we do this beautiful culture program called Heartist, and that's our culture of our foundations. It's the heart and art of human connection.
Oh, amazing.
We have 4 principles, very simple, but all of our colleagues, their very first day with us, their very first hour, they need to go on the Heartist program. And of course, those programs have always been delivered face-to-face. Yeah. And in every region, we have weekly meetings, and in every, staff get employed in all different hotels, and they all do their induction at one hotel every week. So everyone does the same thing. And you know who you're working for, what's the culture of the workplace. And so we realised, of course, we started having to recruit again after, many months of being shut down. And we didn't know how to do it because we couldn't go face to face. We still were in restrictions. So we've developed now everything online. And my very first time trying to do it, it was on Zoom. But, there's breakout rooms, there's all sorts of different activities.
Oh, my goodness. That's a whole nother landmine field, isn't it?
That actually is a landmine. But really, how easy is it? If I can do it, my goodness, anyone can do it. And actually even doing it, I never thought I'd get the buzz that I did being face-to-face, but I loved it. And it made me feel so good after that session. And people got really revved up. So I think, we're still able to do things that we never thought we could do.
Yeah, and look, for everybody, they're learning these new skills. It brings a whole sense of achievement. It makes you feel good about yourself, and that's what you want to instill in your employees. So 100%. It's role modelling all the time. So yeah, no one gets stuck and stagnant.
It really is. We've got an academy that we've got Intercore, and it provides all of our education for our staff. And some of it's compliance, some of it's learning in regards to leadership training, etc. But we've now got our colleagues in the Pacific over in New Zealand training everybody here in Australia. So there's no more borders. There's no more. We just do really everything for free. It's really fantastic, actually. Really, really great.
So for people looking to get into hospitality, it's actually a really good time to get in and learn in a way that you might not have had before. It's a whole new area.
Do you know what? I actually say to everybody that I speak to, and my children who have dabbled in hospitality, the world is your oyster. If you want to do anything, we have HR, we have finance, we have legal, we have development, we have all sorts of different areas. It doesn't have to just be, everyone thinks, you're a food and beverage attendant, or you're a front office person that checks someone in and checks someone out.
Yeah.
So many opportunities to do something in a hotel, and we have our partnership with Qantas Lounges. We look after all the lounges around the world. So we have so many different businesses. There's lots of different businesses that we could make sure there's opportunities for everybody. So really, if you are prepared to bring your best attitude to work, that's all that we ask for.
It's a great time to be there. And people are going to be so excited to travel again. So you're going to get a lot of positive reinforcement out of that.
We've actually just been super excited recently because our company has provided us an opportunity to bring in 100 interns into our business.
Oh, wow.
To repopulate the industry. So,
and that's of all different age groups? It's not a...
It's basically people who are in the coming out of school, so graduates.
Okay, great.
Who want to maybe give hospitality their future. And so we're able to provide a really great opportunity for them. They actually get mentoring from our CEO, from our executive committee. I'll be mentoring a number of them. And, they'll get to work with me, a day in a life of what a regional person does and all sorts of different things. It's such a great
opportunity with growth prospect.
It is. So I do think really this is the business that is going to come back the quickest when we finally open up. Everybody's dying to get out and travel and get back to enjoying life again. So, and that's what we provide.
With a lot of enthusiasm.
100%.
That's awesome. So sadly, I imagine you've had to have redundancies and have people stood down on like a waiting to hear if they can come back kind of system. How has that been managed, and staying in touch with people? And I mean, if that's a possibility to talk about.
Absolutely, no, 100%. So we definitely have had to, unfortunately, effect some redundancies. We did a lot of voluntary redundancies where we offered people to take a package because we knew that we had a lot of people, but we still had work to be done, just not as much. So we also put opportunities out there for people to make their own choices.
Yes, good.
And which they did, and we worked through them. We gave them career coaches. We had all sorts of training for them to help work through what are those decisions that they want to make. And we want to make sure that they depart feeling really well cared for, because we want them back.
That's right.
When we get back into our normal, our new normal, and we really want to make sure that they want to come back to us if they choose to, when it works for them. And so I think we've had quite a few people knock back on our doors recently, which has been fantastic. It's so nice to welcome them back because they've tried something else. It's not as fun and engaging, but it gave them what they needed. And now they see that we're recruiting for certain roles, and they said, oh, absolutely, I want to come back. So even though, you know, normally with a redundancy, you don't refill a role for 12 months. We're not refilling roles, we're changing roles, but we're more than happy to bring back people if they want to come back into the business. So I think we've done it really well from those that I've spoken to who have left.
It sounds like you've created they're a part of a family, like it's someone you want to go back to. Yeah.
And we've also got an alumni list. So we've got a list of people, of course, who we've had to let go. So we definitely want to be able to recruit too in the future and keep them informed of what's changing in our business so that they might want to come back to us. They've got a lot of international intellectual property that we want to get back into the business, but they've also got the best, heartest values that have worked so well for us. So we definitely want them back.
It sounds like Accor plays the long game in terms of recruitment. You know, like it's not just for here and now, it's a develop you into the future kind of.
All of our communication has been about the long journey. We are here, and from the very beginning of COVID and thinking we had to lock down for, we thought 2 or 3 months. I mean, no one, of course, ever assumed.
Oh, how foolish we were.
None of us thought this. So it has been, we've always said to them, we're here for the long journey, and please make sure, even with this Melbourne lockdown, I mean, it was heartbreaking 2 weeks ago to have to stand so many people down again. But we do have a great opportunity. Again, the company was so good a year ago, seeing that this is a pandemic, that we just don't know how long it's going to last. And we were able to, they created a Heartist Fund. So a fund that was able to give people money to live during COVID if they didn't have their hours, or they were impacted by illness and medical bills and they couldn't pay for food and all sorts of things. So we actually would keep connected to all of our employees when they were stood down and find out their personal circumstances and then apply for a grant for them. And we were able to provide them with funds. And even up until 2 weeks ago, I provided a lot of people with funds just 2 weeks ago because we're locked in. And I couldn't provide them any hours just from, you know, one day to the next.
Yeah, well, everything I hear makes me want to work for Accor. But in terms of like business loyalty, and it's not just that, it's it's a long term, we're looking out for you and we're creating possibilities, which I think is incredible. Everything
that we do with Accor, the company is built on loyalty. We've got over 14 million loyal members for Accor in Australia, and we really, you know, it's 1 in 7 people. We are looking to make sure that our employees feel exactly the same way, that it's all about loyalty. We want to be loyal to them, give them commitment, give them security so that they are in this for the long haul. We don't want people thinking that hospitality is just that job I'm doing before I get my real job. That's not what hospitality is. No. It actually is a career, and it's a fun, exciting, mostly fantastic career for everybody. And obviously we just have to deal with these changes and create our new norms.
Well, I think, I was going to say, I think this has created, it has created blocks and barriers for sure. We can't deny that. And there's been loss and everything else. But I was really excited when I spoke with you pre-doing this, because there was a sense of the innovation that will come and the excitement and the return strategies. That's what I'm super interested in, because we can get caught in the day-to-day, like we've all felt it at one time, and we should feel it and go through it. But I think there's some really exciting things about what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I think the people who have stayed for the journey so far have had a huge amount of learning, whether it's learning in their day-to-day job or whether it's in senior leaders like me, where we have really had to work. We've created task forces to work on all different areas of our business to provide education and support to our business. So let's say when JobKeeper came in, over a year ago, it was so convoluted, a lot of information way back, and we had to get it. We had our task force just dive into it, and they provided packs to all of our general managers to work through every bit of their communication, letters for their employees, town hall notes, everything was incredible, handed to them to make it easier, because all we can do in this is to keep learning, and everyone's being agile. And as much as nobody wants to be great at making people redundant,
But you need strategies in place.
You need to have strategies and you need to be prepared for it, and to make sure that you are coached through it so that you deliver the best, termination process. It's hard, but again, having people feel like they've been cared for and that they may want to come back one day. And I do honestly believe overall we've done very well with that, having to deliver those messages, quite a few times.
Yeah, repeatedly, let's be honest. How are staff feeling regarding the reintegration and relaunch back into the workplace? Well, pre this lockdown.
Yes, pre this one. Look, we've had a lot of people really eager to come back and just do what they can to come back to the family, because we do sort of provide that family environment. We've also had some challenges. People have got other jobs out there that they also want to keep on the side. And when we offer part-time arrangements, it's hard to negotiate. There are other employers that now have been supporting them as well. So we just say to them, look, we'll work with whatever parameters you give us to work with. We don't want to make it hard, but we also want you back because you're great at what you do. We are a primary employer. We've supported you over the 12 months. We really welcome you back in. But sometimes they don't want to come back, and we have still some people out there who have not rejoined us yet.
Yeah. And has that left you obviously needing to recruit? So it's left you understaffed, yeah. Is it a case of the instability?
Definitely, because the other employer is giving them full-time work and commitment. Commitment is as long as the commitment is. It could end tomorrow, or it could be in the 4 weeks of their notice period of that new employer. But we just, there are so many other opportunities out there. Other workplaces are creating different opportunities for people in IT, particularly in all of those things. Call centres have doubled. The work in aged care. Been recruiting heavily, and of course they like customer service focused people like ours, and they can provide full-time work. So definitely it's been an impact to us that we haven't been able to provide that full-time commitment to one job. No, but we can provide 38 hours a week with 2 or 3 different jobs.
Have people indicated that they're sacrificing the satisfaction at work for permanence?
Absolutely. Okay. We've got people who are working in all sorts of different industries, and some in government, some in finance, some in things that they've never thought they would do, and they're not actually enjoying them, but they just have to feed their family, and this is what comes.
Look, you understand it.
I understand 100%. You've got to do what's right for your family.
Yes, yeah. It's a lot of fear-based living, though, isn't it? Unfortunately, which has an expiry, in terms of not for you the person, hopefully, but the longevity in that career. Yeah,
absolutely right. Absolutely.
What was my next question? Have staff displayed different characteristics in terms of their self-efficacy for adaptability?
I think they have been fairly positive. They've also been, I think, very transparent. Not everybody has, enjoyed the experience, and they just want to get back to a full-time commitment, and they just want to go back to things how it used to be. Yeah. And, I guess that's, at the moment, we just can't say, I'd love to, I just say it all the time, I would love to. In a perfect world tomorrow, I'll convert everything back to what it was, because nothing was broken. It was great. No. But I just can't do that. It was working. So, look, it is challenging. Everyone's different. Some people have really positive experiences, and some people are just naturally so grateful.
That was one of my questions. Have you had a change in how people are appreciative of the workplace and appreciative of the company? And are they voicing it more?
Yes, so I think people are definitely, like last week when I ran out a number of colleagues and told them about the grant that I was going to give them to just help them financially over the next few weeks. There were a lot of tears. There was a lot of, oh my God, I just can't believe you're doing that. I mean, we have people who started with us 3 weeks ago. They've got no annual leave. They've got no nothing. What am I going to do? So of course I was going to give them something, and they were just, oh my goodness. They just believe they've joined the right company. And that's what people are saying to me. They know that we want the best, only the best for our people, because if we provide the best, they'll be at their best and they'll give the best service, and that makes everybody happy, our customers, them. I mean, that's the whole service profit chain. So we really do want to make sure that, but not everybody is like that. But a lot of people have seen that it's as positive as it can get.
Well, the gratitude level must be up. Like it's a great thing.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Did you have strategies for building resilience?
We do have. We've actually been, I think, really positive in this area. It's been very challenging, of course, in these last 12, 15 months. Everybody's had a lot of challenge. We partner with LifeWorks, which is they offer counselling and personal coaching for people who are experiencing sort of mental health or issues and things like that. But also we've provided the company with lots of education and webinars and podcasts in regards to coaches.
Brilliant.
Just general coaches. We've had Rowdy McLean, we've had Stacey Ashley, we've had industry partners. So a lot of people to really provide new ways of thinking so that people can become more resilient, learn how to change, grow with the changes that are put in front of us. We've just got to be so much more agile. How do we become more dynamic and more agile?
If we've learned nothing else, that's what we've learned, isn't it? Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So really what I'm hearing is your employment strategies and the opportunities have really opened up in a really different way over this time, and it is a very dynamic and energy building area to get into for people that are struggling or may have lost a job over this time.
Absolutely, and I would encourage anyone who is interested in joining the industry to just give Accor a go. Reach out. There are so many opportunities. And if you go on LinkedIn and just Google Accor, you'll see, we've got about 400,000 people who are on LinkedIn. So reach out to anybody, whichever state you're in, whichever area you're in, because there's a lot of people who'd love to provide you with who we are. What do we do? We are hoteliers, but we're also augmented experience hoteliers. So we just provide experiences and we connect with community, and we just do so much that we're a big part of the industry in whole, not just offering beds and showers to people. It's not what we do. It's all about the experience.
I've learned a lot just in having the opportunity to talk with you, and I'm really grateful that you were willing to do that. I'm hoping to put out there some opportunities that have come from a time that could be a little bit negative, but we want to find some positive in there and not be Pollyannas, but be realistic about what is now on offer, which you've provided so much information. So I'm really, really grateful for your time. Thank you so much. I hope some good comes from the hospitality industry.
I appreciate it. And thanks so much, Tanya, for taking the time to put the spotlight on us, because it's a great industry, and engagement is what we're all about.
That's really, really great. Mutually beneficial. So thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.